2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. This is a off-hour show, but I had to come to you folks because apparently things are not looking good for the Biden administration. This is indeed breaking news. I'm sure many of you have already heard this throughout the news networks for you guys who keep your ear to the ground in terms of politics, but this is indeed breaking news. Turns out a federal investigation on none other than President Joseph R. Biden has determined that the current president willfully kept classified documents in his possession. We're talking about President Biden. Federal investigation determined that he kept classified documents, done it willfully, in his possession. Now, obviously, this is the same issue facing President Trump. But they have decided Biden will not be charged for this. It gets worse, folks. He had classified documents in unsecure locations throughout his property, under his television, in his garage, in his damn basement. But he's not going to be charged for what they found that he done willingly. Not only did Biden willfully possess classified materials, he shared some of the information. All of this has come out, yet Biden will not be charged with any crime. I want to ask you folks something absolutely simple in your humble opinion, no matter whether you lean left, doesn't matter if you lean right. When Trump suggested, among his witch hunt claims, that this was a two-tier justice system, that he was facing charges and allegations that other candidates would not face, how the hell can we now suggest that he was wrong? Was Trump right? Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Is it time to at least, for once, put on a Trump was right hat? Because how can you come up with the investigation stating that Biden willfully, this isn't accidental, folks, this isn't bringing home things that you didn't realize you should have left after becoming vice president, willfully kept classified materials in his possession, kept them in unsecure locations? Why isn't he being charged? You know why they state they're not charging him? Because he is too old and senile. I'm paraphrasing, but amongst the investigation, they stated that he didn't remember when he was vice president. He didn't remember the exact year his son died or was killed or whatever the case may be. The investigation determined that he was simply too difficult to prosecute because he doesn't remember many of the details. Once again, Trump suggests that Biden wouldn't be a good president because he lacks mental competence. How can folks suggest that Trump is not right on some of this stuff? This isn't looking good at all. Now, obviously, you guys know the name of the program. You know who you're talking to. You know I often lean left. But we have to concede a point when a point's been made. Willfully kept his hands on classified documents, stored them in all sorts of unsecure locations, shared the damn material with folks that had no right to see it. And then when he was interviewed, the feds are determining that he simply is not mentally competent enough to prosecute. This is President Biden, folks. This is the left side of the aisles. Our choice for the next president for the next 4 years. Biden's 82 or 81, he'll be 82 until he's 86 years of age. Whether you lean left or you lean right, how many of you folks believe that Biden is indeed competent within his mental faculties, that he could still be reliable 84, 85, 86 years of age? Is it time for the liberals, for the Democrats, for our side of the aisle, to perhaps find someone else anyone else. Someone that is mentally all there. This is his federal government, folks. Trump is not the president. This is Biden's federal government determining that he committed violations with classified documents and is not even mentally competent to prosecute. That's what we're going to talk about today. I don't know what the hell to say on the program, but I wanted to come back and talk to you folks. The program is always will remain, but we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Liberals are certainly welcome. I want to hear folks on the left try to explain this, because at the end of the day, it might be time to put on a few Trump was right hats. Something is wrong when Trump is being charged for willfully possessing classified material and Biden is not. Trump is suggesting he is a victim of a two-tier justice system. Tell me how he's wrong. Tell me how he's wrong. Look it in the comments. What's good, brother? Nothing is good right now. Absolutely nothing. I appreciate the comment. Biden and his administration is a nightmare to our country, says Kelly. I can't go that far, but I'm going to tell you that it does seem like he may be getting a pass on something, whereas Trump is being prosecuted. It's hard not to admit that. Trump did turn the documents over and cooperated. I don't see any evidence of that part, though. I mean, we can hold Biden accountable, but I don't want to make up things on Trump. His own attorney, talking about Trump's own attorney testified that Trump was not cooperating. So I don't know where you heard that from. Tap the screen, folks. This is a depressing program. Nevertheless, start your boy out with 10,000 likes. We're going to go straight to the box. We'll go to Cecil Grant asking that question. Was Trump right? Is he indeed the victim of a two-tier justice system? Cecil, good afternoon. What say you?
Wow.
Squirrel, thank you. Go ahead.
That's our justice system right now. Department of Justice is very two-tiered. I mean, obviously it's in front of our eyes, all the crap that's going on, and you're holding one guy to a set of standards. I mean, they found documents before he was president, documents he shouldn't have had. I mean, we want to convict Trump, but we're allowing another guy a free pass on a lot of stuff, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
But you also got to go, if they're saying that he's not capable enough to remember this stuff and charge him, then why is he running our country?
Yeah.
It's a pretty scary thought, man.
It really is, and you obviously handsome liberal, you know where I lean, but I can't argue with a lot of folks on this. That not only did he possess the documents, which is what we're hammering Trump for, but then once he's investigated, the investigators under his own government are suggesting he's not mentally competent enough to actually prosecute. He can't remember enough of the details. I think it's something like that. He didn't remember the years he was vice president. When questioned, he wasn't quite sure when his son died. Wow. I don't know what to say, but I do have to ask the obvious question. And if we get rid of Biden, is Trump in his late 70s, do you think he's competent enough himself to serve 4 continuous years?
I think he's competent for 4 more years. I don't see a decline in his ability to think outside the box. This guy is running the free world, man, and if you can't remember what you did yesterday, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. Do you believe with them suggesting Biden is not can't remember enough details and things like that with his mental capacity? Would you suggest they charge him anyway, considering they charged Trump?
I mean, if the evidence is there, that's our legal system needs to be straightened out here. I mean, what's good for one is good for the other. I mean, it's not fair that as us, the people, we did this same stuff, we'd be locked under a prison.
Yeah.
It is time to get some real law and order in our country.
Yeah.
We watched it over the years. You go in the inner cities, they get treated like shit. And if you got the money and the power, do what you want. And it's not fair to the people, to the working people for law and order.
Well,
They want us to be law-abiding,
Yeah.
You know.
But let me present it to you this way. In regards to Trump saying he's the victim of a two-tier justice system, do you see Trump also, because you mentioned if we did this stuff, we'd be under the jail. Do you see Trump himself receiving privileges that you or I would not be entitled to from the justice system?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we all know it. I mean, they the elite is what's destroying our country.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when corporate couldn't own everything.
Yeah.
You know, and we sat back and we allowed them to change those rules, and this is why we're in the trouble we're in. You know,
Wow.
because you should be able to own a business and sell your product, and me sell the same thing and have competitive prices. But it's not like that in America anymore.
No.
Because we allowed them to privatize everything.
But wait a minute, though. Isn't that what the right side of the aisle wants? You don't want big government. You believe you should leave it up to the private sector. Leave it up to the individual to decide. Isn't that what happens in a capitalist society?
We should leave it up to that. You know, I mean, I live in a small town now. I grew up in the city, and I got tired of city life, and I live in a small town. And I've watched, actually, my small town sell out to corporate America. I mean, in a 5-mile stretch, we have $6 generals.
Wow.
Walmart's, nothing else.
But I do have to ask you, and I've said before on previous broadcasts that I do believe Walmart and companies like Dollar General have teamed up to get rid of mom and pops. But with your side, I'm assuming you lean right, with your side being in favor of letting the free market rule, speaking constantly negative about socialism, communism, fascism, Marx, all in favor of capitalism, you can't call for a system, suggest this is the best system, and then complain when the system operates as normal. What you're talking about, that's what happens in a free market capitalist system.
And it shouldn't be that way. And I've been a Democrat up until the last 8 years. And then I switched, you know, and I kind of stay in the middle. I try to stay, you know, I believe that if you want to own a firearm, that's up to you. You know what I mean? Personally, I think that our protected rights, you know, no longer exist. And we're in a bubble, and we think it's going to change tomorrow. Even if Trump comes in, you know, there's a lot to work on. And it's the people getting back together, like on your show, where we can go in and we can talk to each other without disrespecting each other, without hating on each other. You know, I mean, there's different comments in there, and that's going to happen because people have opinions.
Fair
they
enough.
have a right to it, you know? But we're having civilized dialogue and trying to come up with ideas that make sense to us. See, that's where we need to start at the bargaining table. Find people that want to get into office, that want to help the people as a collective. You know, we're beating each other up because they want us to.
I don't disagree with all of that, and I do appreciate the accolades. Certainly, we do believe in civilized dialogue from both sides. It is a difficult feat to accomplish because it does require patience, and unfortunately, a lot of the American public lacks said characteristics. But I appreciate you coming on, Cecil. I do have to move it on. You're welcome anytime.
Thanks for having me, man. I enjoy your show every day, and I enjoy the conversations in the lobby too, even though it's against each other. You know what? We are humans. We're supposed to love each other, man, regardless if we disagree, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're going to make the world. It's not a president. It's not the politicians. We make the world.
I don't disagree with that.
If we keep feeding that negative agenda to our children, we're never going to get out of this hole. I love you, brother.
Well said. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Look in the comments. Do you know what would be really nice if people just don't generalize everybody into one? 100% agree. All Trump supporters are not racist. All Black Lives Matter are not terrorists. I absolutely agree. A lot of generalization happens on both sides of the aisle. 100% agree. However, right now we're talking about Biden. We're asking, when Trump says, you know, you see a lot of these hats floating around. You see the apparel that states Trump was right. Trump, we know, being held accountable for willfully retaining classified documents. Now that a federal investigation has concluded, suggesting Biden did the same thing willfully, kept the documents in numerous unsecured locations on his property, under the television, in his basement, in his garage, and even shared some of the information. How does it look that we're pursuing Trump in court that involves classified documents and Biden gets a pass? How does Trump not look like he should deserve the title if Trump was right when this is happening? Doesn't matter if you lean left or right. You should see this. Can someone explain it? That's what we're asking today. Look it in the comments. And I appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. This is somewhat of a fairly big piece of news coming out in regards to the Biden administration. Even if he doesn't get charged, there is nothing good about this. Not to mention his mental competency being discussed in regards to the investigation. Didn't even know the years he was vice president. Didn't even know when his own son died. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. If you like Biden, you have been brainwashed, says Nicole. I don't agree with that. There are legitimate reasons to like Biden. There are a lot of Biden has been in politics his entire adult life. You're going to tell me out of the 40 years or so he's been in office, he hasn't done one thing worth liking him for? Yet the American people just continued electing a guy that is 100% unlikable. That makes sense to you? All right, going back to the box before I do, not one damn thing says sassy. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that, but the guy's been around 40 years. He clearly is. I would submit to you right off the bat, his participation in the Universal Care Act. How many Americans are using that Universal Care Act? Obamacare, aka Obamacare. Remember when Trump promised to repeal and replace Obamacare? That shit didn't work out very well, did it? Because even members of his own party, think John McCain with the thumbs down, members of his own party realized folks like universal health care. Biden gets huge amounts of credit for that. So nothing at all Biden has done, it, no reason at all to like him. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. Going back to the box, Anima, good afternoon, welcome to the program. Biden and Pence didn't willfully refuse to give them up, nor did they try to hide them. Well, if possession of classified materials is a crime, doesn't matter if you handed them over willfully or not. If you're not supposed to have the documents in your possession, and you're willfully trying to keep them in your possession, doesn't matter if you hand them over voluntarily or not. You shouldn't have had them to begin with. Is it a crime to possess the documents or not? It is as simple as that. Looking in the box, Anima, good afternoon.
How's it going, Tim?
It's going, I don't know at this point with Biden. So was Trump right when he suggests he was the victim of a two-tier justice system?
I mean, that remains to be seen. It'll depend on the outcomes of the 4 indictments, 91 charges.
Well, one of the indictments is in reference to classified documents.
Yes, and it's your timing on reading that comment was a little swift there, Tim, because that's exactly what I came up to suggest. Is it was the obstruction of justice that actually led to Trump being prosecuted.
Right, but you notice in Trump's case, he was charged with obstruction of justice because they went to him and demanded he turn over documents. He was hesitant, so that's where he's getting the charge. Yet Biden and Pence, no one ever asked him to retain documents they had in their possession for over a generation with President Biden. So it's impossible to get an obstruction of justice charge if you're President Biden, because they're not even coming and asking you. They gave Biden the opportunity after 30, 40 years to look through his property and voluntarily hand him over. Yet Trump has only left office a year or so, and they're at his house serving search warrants. Can you explain that?
I mean, simply put, for me, and here's the thing, I want to say that people on the left have not said that if Biden is guilty of something that he could be charged with, then he shouldn't go to jail. Like we've said, send him to jail. That's not what
let me make sure I rephrase this again.
No, I got you.
Okay, because if they had given Trump the same courtesy they gave Biden, they wouldn't be asking him for documents back at all. They would have waited 30, 40 years till he decided to just hand them over.
Yeah, but again, the initiation is the cause. Trump was intentionally withholding that stuff. The willful retention terminology that's being used, that's after the fact of Biden's lawyers finding documents and willfully turning them in, not retaining them.
But why was Biden's attorneys allowed to look through his property and voluntarily turn documents in, whereas with Trump, they're on the phone with him a year or so after he's left the office, demanding he hand stuff back? No one even made the inclination that Biden was holding on to classified materials. The only reason they got those documents back from Biden and Pence is because they didn't want to be like Trump. They were treating Trump differently, and it spooked Biden, who's already been holding on to the documents since the 70s. Why does he get a pass that Trump didn't get?
Well, I think you've answered your own question with the timeline there. I mean, the reality is that there was known documents in the Trump circumstances, and that's why the archives were already communicating with him about that situation. And the obstruction of justice, I truly believe that without the obstruction of justice, they wouldn't have gone after Trump in the way that they have. I mean, frankly, and the fact, changing locks and trying to modify security footage. I mean, these are things that are in the actual indictments. So at any rate, I wanted to real quick. So I find this interesting. You might find this interesting. I've now for the first time seen the term so this is regarding Trump, illegally, quote, hoarding classified records. So I immediately, when I saw that, I think we're going to see that a lot now, Tim. You probably agree with me on that one. We're going to
Wait, hold on a second. It doesn't matter if you rob a bank of $5 or $50,000. It's a bank robbery. Just because Trump has more documents, I get it. But having classified documents is a crime.
I want to be clear. I'm not supporting the statement, but I understand that they're trying to make that that lack of parallel between the two. And I was just saying, don't you think we're probably going to see that term some more here? Now, this is from HER's report. Our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. Okay, but HER's report says evidence suggests that many of the classified documents recovered by investigators were retained by, quote, mistake. Additionally, he made a point of...
How do they know that? Wait, hold on. How do they know that his documents... Wait. The Biden documents... Due to the
investigation.
Huh?
Due to the investigation. This is from the report.
Okay, so you don't see where it sounds almost like they're giving Biden the benefit of the doubt. Well, he has his documents by mistake. You think they would have said Trump had his documents by mistake?
What happens when you turn yourself in for a crime? Is there ever any deference given?
Yeah, I get your point. But what I'm saying is Biden got a chance to turn himself in for a crime he committed damn near 30 years ago, and they had Trump house in like 12 months. Something doesn't sound right.
What I was going to say earlier is when I said simply put, what do you think would have happened with the documents in Trump's possession had the archives not been aware of it and not sought them back? He probably would have had them in 30 years as well if he hadn't sold them. Yeah. And I say that full-chestedly.
And I don't disagree with the possibility of that, but what I'm saying is that it sounds like they treated Trump as if he was not trustworthy with documents, and they treated Biden as if he left the White House as an angel and never even questioned him. It sounds like they treated these men differently. That's the two-tier justice system comment.
Well, I would say, if you're going to use those terms, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was initially for BIPOC individuals, like that two-tiered justice system was for people of different colors from white tea. And it's interesting to me how many times something will come up that the right doesn't like, and they'll start to use the same terminology as the left has used for other things, and they'll essentially co-opt it. For instance, my body, my choice. But we won't get into that discussion. I want to point out before, because I know you got to move it on. This is something I find interesting. He made a point, so this is Biden, he made a point of saying that he sat for 5 hours in person interviews over 2 days on October 8th and 9th, quote, even though Israel had just been attacked on October 7th, and I was in the middle of handling an international crisis. Now, I can see why some people would take point of issue with that, just so you know. I'm not leaving that alone.
Okay.
But quote, I just believed that's what I owed the American people, so they could know no charges would be brought and the matter closed. And that's the other, it's just reinforcing his statement that he's glad that it's quote unquote over with. And Biden made his homes available to agents to conduct thorough searches, and that's again a difference between the two.
30.
Finally,
Okay.
This is the last thing I have saved.
Okay, real quick, go ahead.
Would reach this. Yeah, her in this document, in this the charges, we would reach the same conclusion even if Department of Justice policy did not foreclose criminal charges against a sitting president, the report said. And this is the person that's releasing this. So, we have to listen to the people who are actually, obviously I'm not ignoring the fact that Biden has these, but I want to reiterate, we on the left have said, if Biden has done something illegal, prosecute and jail.
Well, then right now is the time to question why that isn't happening. Anna, I do got to move it on, though. I do have to move it on. Appreciate you coming in. And I'm not here to bash Biden, defend Trump, or vice versa. I'm here, as I always am with you folks, to concede legitimate points and have intelligent conversation, if we can call it that, from both sides of the aisle. And today I'm here to suggest that when folks say Trump was right, or perhaps he is the victim of a two-tier justice system, I now see some validity in this particular incident. Where am I getting it wrong? If possessing a classified document is a crime, how is he getting a pass? And how does it look when he gets a pass and the investigators are mentioning that part of the reason they didn't prosecute him is his mental competency is not necessarily there, that he's forgetting key dates and issues? How does Trump not get a Trump was right, at least check mark on this issue? Now, you folks know I tend to lean left on a hell of a lot of social issues, but I'm not going to pretend to not call a spade a spade. Going back to the box. Real quick, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Get your boy up to 25,000. There's almost 1,000 of you in here. Could be anywhere you want to be. It's always a pleasure having you here with me. You know how the program is ran. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So if you think yours truly is totally off the mark, feel free to come in the box. Won't limit or censor your time in any way. It's all about free speech here. Program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. Going back to the box, we'll go straight to Fuzzard, X3. Two-tier justice system. Tell me where Trump got it wrong. Fuzzard, X3, good evening.
How are you today, Tim?
I don't even know, man. I don't know. I don't want to be doing this.
So let's start off with the two-tier system. Me and you, he's benefiting the two-tier system.
Who?
Say howdy.
Who?
Trump is.
Okay. Explain.
Me and you, we're in jail right now. Me and you don't get to post bail.
Yeah.
Me and you, 91 charges?
Yeah.
No, we're not seeing the light of day ever again. So,
But is Biden benefiting as well?
So let's go down that road. NARA didn't even know the documents were missing. NARA still hasn't taken full claim for the documents. They're not even sure that they're NARA's documents. So it could have been just error. Oh, I didn't know. I had these kicking around. And the disclosure.
Wait, further. The documents in the man's possession for most of our adult lives, you and I.
Sure.
Not at no time did Biden clean his house. None of the maids noticed. This says classified on it. The letters are kind of brown, sir, after all the aging. But nobody in his house, 30 years, he didn't know he had that stuff. You believe that?
Maybe he did know it, but he didn't realize. Oh, this is. Maybe he did not realize. Oh, I didn't know. I couldn't just hold on to these.
30 years. You didn't check and find out?
Why would he if he didn't know that there was a law against it?
Come on now. I've got to say, you could be right, but this is extreme benefit of the doubt we're giving him.
It could be. But Donald Trump is not being charged for having them.
No. Donald Trump is being charged for not complying with the request for the documents, but the point being made is that Trump is being charged for something that Biden could never be charged for because they didn't ask Biden for documents back. They just Trump treated him as if he was an angel and he didn't have anything in his possession. Biden could still have those documents if he wanted to.
Probably, yeah.
Is that not wrong?
Biden thought, you know what? It's no big deal that I have these documents. I'm not doing anything with them. And he doesn't do anything with them. There's no evidence he's done a thing. He just had them in the possession. And as soon as he found out that Trump, as soon as he found out Trump is getting in trouble with this, he's like, well, let me clear my name. Hey, I got some in this closet over here, and my Corvette has some underneath it. So, you know.
But how do you get that opportunity? Here's a question I'm asking. If it's a crime to have classified documents in your possession, does the crime go away when you voluntarily give them back?
But apparently the crime isn't having them. Donald Trump's not being charged for having them.
You got classified. Then if it's not a crime to have something, how can it be a crime not to give it back to the police or give it back to the feds? How can that be a crime?
Obstruction of justice.
What justice? According to you, wait, hang on. According to you, it's not a crime to have the documents in your possession. So if it's not a crime for me to have these, how am I obstructing justice?
Not according to me. NARA is not charging, or the DOJ is not charging anyone for possession. So apparently, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's not on the up and up. But there's no evidence that Biden has done anything evil with them, wrongdoing.
That's not true. They suggested he did share the documents with some kind of reporter. I forgot the term they used, but he did share some of the information.
Is this what was going on today? I didn't hear a whole lot of it.
Additionally, not only did he share some of the information, maintaining classified material in unsecure locations is also problematic. Under his television, in his basement, in his garage. How does he get a pass, but we're all over Trump?
Exactly what it is. He said, hey, I've got these, come get them.
You know,
Donald Trump went out of his way to have his lawyers say, we've turned them all in.
Biden said, I have the documents, come get them, some 30, 40 years after possessing them. You don't see anything wrong with that.
I didn't say I didn't see anything wrong with it.
All right.
But there's an argument for, hey, you know, Biden could easily say, well, I didn't realize how much of a problem this is.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, it seems like if Trump was not such a, for lack of a better term, hated former president, or if Trump had never been president, we had, say, Hillary Clinton or someone, there would be no call to go after former presidents like Biden or vice presidents like Mike Pence for documents at all. The only reason we're doing this stuff, and this is why I'm talking about the two-tier justice system, the only reason we're doing this stuff is folks who are after Trump went to Trump to demand documents that they normally likely would not have done on anybody else, and because then he started acting an ass and refusing to give them up, we have all of this. But if Trump was Hillary Clinton or Mitt Romney or somebody, they never would have been at his door at all. You don't see the two-tier justice system.
But you got to understand, Trump was the only one that was a president. So they're watching that when you're moving stuff around. And I'm not trying to defend it. No, Biden and Pence both shouldn't have had those documents. Compliance is what works here. But also the reason why it went unnoticed. They're watching Donald Trump or any president.
They're watching Trump more because of the dislike of Trump. This is why he keeps saying they're after me.
Right, but understand, he was also the only president that did this.
Okay. I get your point, but a VP taking home classified documents, Mike Pence and Vice President Biden, I don't know if that's much. Well, Trump was president. They were just, obviously, a vice president gets their hand on a hell of a lot of sensitive information. I don't know what difference that makes.
Well, they said they didn't even know they were missing, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making. They didn't know Biden's documents were missing because they treated him kinder when he left the job. They were all over Trump like a cheap suit. So if I follow you down the highway, I'm going to catch you making more moving violations than somebody I just trust behind the wheel. That's what we're talking about.
Well, Trump, if Trump went to inauguration, maybe they wouldn't have been watching him while they were moving those things out.
All right. You drive a hard bargain. I got to move it on,
Hey, good talking to you, buddy.
Absolutely. You too. Going back to the folks, am I getting it wrong? Now, I know I have a hell of a lot of liberals that watch the program as well. For my folks on the left, I already know where the right is going with this shit, but for my folks on the left, what say you? Do you think Biden is not being the beneficiary of any special treatment at all? How about the fact that the investigators are suggesting that Biden would be a difficult individual to prosecute because he can't remember shit? How do you feel on the left? Not even asking the right. How do you feel on the left with a federal investigation coming out with this information while Biden is in charge of the federal government? You can't blame it on Trump. You can't blame it on the conservatives or the Republicans. Biden is in charge of the federal government. This is the same argument I often use when folks suggest that the feds took the election from Trump. It's your federal government. So Biden can't blame this on anyone. How is he escaping charges? How is it that the investigator suggested he doesn't have the mental capacity, but he's running for president? Is that not something to bring up? Because Trump has brought this stuff up. Can someone tell me how Trump is not right on this particular subject? Looking in the comments, he gave them back. Everyone keeps saying 30 to 40 years later. You robbed a bank. You used the money to play the stock market. You're living comfortable now. You go give them the few bucks you took. If having the documents is a crime, giving them back excuses what's on the books? I mean, if you go rob a bank and you take the money back 20 years later, well, I gave you the money back. I don't get where giving it back has anything to do with whether it's a crime or not. Looking in the comments, YouTube, the amount of times Trump got indicted says it all, says Leo. 91 indictments, I'm assuming you're suggesting that because they are going at him so hard, it shows that it is some type of witch hunt. I can't jump on that bandwagon just yet, but if it continues to go in this direction, I might. Something's wrong here. Something is wrong here. Going back to the box. I know I'm going to be called all kinds of names, whether it's Uncle Tonga, Uncle Ruckus, sellout, you name it. But I'm here to concede a point. I don't just ride the left. I don't just hate the right. Somebody explain this to me. Going back to the box. Faith London just dropped. All right, we'll continue it on. Alexandra Tardif. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Economy, inflation, prices is what I care about, says Longley. Yeah, I understand that, but crime is a crime. Doesn't matter if you care about it or not, it's a crime. Alexandra, good afternoon.
Yeah, well, you know what? I agree with you, brother, on a lot of things, but the thing that...
What am I getting wrong?
What Biden did was as a VP. He did not do these as a president. So, yes, I agree. If he did commit a crime, he should be prosecuted. But not right now. He's the president. He did not commit those crimes while president. That would be an impeachment thing. So if you want to bring him up on charges while he's president for doing that, you'd have a hard time even impeaching him.
Okay, so let me present it to you this way, because you mentioned impeachment. If they can show where he, as president now for 3 years, still from vice presidential days, was willfully maintaining possession of classified documents, and the Republican Congress voted to impeach him. If you had say so, how would you go, yay or nay, on impeaching Biden for what looks like a crime?
Sure, if they can bring the evidence. That's the thing with a lot of MAGA thing about Trump, is they never bring evidence. They just bring feelings and opinions.
Right.
It's like, bring me evidence that this was willfully done, and yeah, bring him up on charges.
Well, the feds have
above the law.
Well, the feds have concluded that he was willfully maintaining possession of these documents. So we say, where's the evidence? It came out of an investigation, a months-long investigation. So that evidence is there.
Bring up charges. What Biden does not excuse what Trump did.
Facts.
That's
I agree.
also one of the problems.
Yeah.
You know, like MAGA people will talk to you like, but what about Biden? What about Hillary? They're not the one being brought on charges right now. What he did does not excuse him from, even if the whole Congress did the same thing, it does not excuse him from what he did.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me make something clear. I agree with you. I'm not here to play whataboutism or say this or that. I agree with you 100%. A lot of folks in regards to defending their candidate of choice tries to deflect or play whataboutism. But in this case, I'm sticking strictly to President Biden because Trump has been constantly suggesting he's being treated differently than everybody. And that's what I'm trying to ask is, do you see some validity to what he's claiming now? Now that Biden has been literally, I won't say found guilty because it didn't go to a court of law, but it's the same thing of willfully maintaining classified information, sharing them with parties that had no legal right to see the information, and storing them in various unsecured locations around his property. This is all of the stuff we criticize Trump for.
That's what I'm saying. If Biden did it, bring him up on charges. But it doesn't stop what is happening to Trump. Trump is trying to hide between whataboutisms about what he did. Like, oh, you know, if I did this and that, and he did this and that, I should be punished. That's not true. They should both be punished.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this, before moving on, let me ask you this question here. With the investigators coming out and stating that Biden would be difficult to prosecute because he can not even remember basic important facts, how do you view the fact that he could be our next president for 4 years? Do you think that that says anything about his competency? Perhaps maybe he's not the right candidate of choice. What say you?
I think there should be no 80-year-old man ruling our country at any time. Yeah. And have you seen Trump's speeches lately?
You're deflecting, but you're deflecting.
No. I agree. No, that's the point. I'm getting to my point. Biden, no, he shouldn't. He's not my favorite candidate, and he wasn't 3 years ago. But I looked at both men, and you know what? I felt like Trump was a danger and Biden was not. And I still feel this way, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no issue with believing one candidate is a danger over the other. If you believe that, you're entitled to believe it. But I want to ask you this: if you believe Trump is a danger for whatever reason you believe, but you're willing to understand that Biden can't even remember basic issue, do you see any danger in having a president leading this country that can't remember simple things?
They're both dangerous.
Okay.
That's what those two parties don't understand right now. One is his mental capabilities are going down, obviously, and the other is a mentally ill man, a narcissist, mentally ill. Everybody said, not everybody, but a bunch of people see it. I work in the healthcare industry, and doctors always talk to me about like how dangerous that man is. He's malignant narcissist, and you want that as a president? I don't want a senile man, and I don't want a narcissist. Right. I wish we had better choices.
I think a lot of folks on the left would agree with you, but I think the right is pretty happy with Trump. But I got to move it on, Alexander. Do appreciate you coming in.
All right.
Absolute.
All right.
Absolutely. And it's hard to do a program like this, folks. Today it is. It's kind of hard. I'm okay with playing devil's advocate here and there, but my criticisms in regards to today's show is not me playing devil's advocate. It's simply conceding legitimate points. I mean, Trump's been suggesting that he is the victim of a system that's treating him differently than other candidates. It's hard not to see a little bit of validity in that today. It's hard not to temporarily put on the Trump was right hat. I'm trying to get some folks to give me a clear-cut reason why that's wrong and why Trump was wrong, but I don't know if I'm hearing it. Real quick, For my folks on YouTube, smash that like button. I always have to ask folks that, certainly on TikTok, tap the screen, get your boy likes up. It helps out the algorithm, which is why I asked that. Brings in more MAGA, certainly helps the show continue, helps bring decent content. Doesn't cost you a damn thing to do it, so smash that like button on YouTube. And by the way, if you enjoy civilized dialogue without the host trying to limit, block, ban, or alter your opinion, you are in the right place. Follow the program, perhaps a subscription on YouTube. We are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. But because it is breaking news, I had to get my ass on here now because I want to hear from the folks, particularly my folks on the left, in reference to how is Trump not right in suggesting that the system is treating him differently than others. Going back to the box. Wow, what a day. Faith, London. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Faith. I want to know, what am I getting wrong? I'm willing to concede if I'm getting it wrong. Faith, good afternoon or good evening.
Hey,
Hey,
can you hear me?
loud and clear, ma'am.
Okay, listen. I am so sick of you playing devil's advocate. First and foremost.
What am I doing wrong?
Okay, listen.
Yeah! Thank you, Niner Man.
Listen, Trump the document situation is totally different, and you know this, okay? So I don't want you to play. Yes, you know, and if you don't know, you got to read the document.
Well, before you get on Chris Tucker, and you know this, man, I want to know what don't I know? Tell me what I don't know.
Okay, but the situation for Trump is totally different from Biden. Once they realize that what was going on with Trump, what did Biden do? Biden said, okay, come check my place out, okay, to see if I have anything. Pence did the same thing. You keep leaving out Pence's name.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So, that right there makes a difference. And they willingly did this. Trump was trying to hide documents and keep them because for whatever reason, he has a problem with giving up things because he want to sell it. You know, he want to make a deal or something.
But that's two issues. First, when you mentioned Pence, who rightfully, you're correct, he also had classified documents, and you mentioned Biden. Why does Mike Pence and Joseph Biden get the opportunity to voluntarily give their documents up when they're knocking down Trump's door for them? Why do they get volunteer? Trump gets demand.
Okay, so you know why they had to knock down his door.
Because they don't like him.
Okay, but listen. So Nara contacted Trump like a year ago, okay? So that's why. And they asked him, he gave 15 boxes the first time. Then they said, okay, we don't have them all. That's when. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so that's when they knocked on the door and saying, hey, we coming, doing everything.
But that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making, Faith. Biden had documents in his possession for 30 plus years. They're at Trump's door a year or two later. Why does Biden get to turn his stuff in 30 years? Why didn't they go to Biden earlier? Same thing with Pence. If Trump didn't get in trouble, Pence and Biden would probably still have those documents in their possession.
Okay, right. But whatever they have or had, it wasn't to the specifications of what Trump had.
How do you know? How do you know?
Listen, they would have gotten charged.
How do you know?
We don't know. Okay,
Right.
so I don't know why you're talking to me this way.
I have to, listen, I make it clear, I try to be as fair as possible. I can't just side with you. I do have legitimate questions for you.
So Biden is a sitting president now, although that happened years ago. So there's going to be a difference. So they can't do anything while he's in. What is somebody saying about me?
I'm listening. Don't worry about them. Let me ask you. You said Biden is a sitting president, so they can't. Biden had 4 years. Remember, Obama left in 2017 when Trump was inaugurated. So between 2017 and 2021, when Biden got inaugurated as the 46th president, that's 4 years. That's longer than they gave Trump to turn his documents in. Why weren't they at Biden's door when he was just a regular citizen asking for their documents back? They went to Trump's house.
Okay, obviously, this is the only thing I can say about it. Obviously, it wasn't. They have more information on Trump stuff.
Yeah, because they don't like him.
What I mean is, they have people. Trump has shared the documents, I'm sure. And whoever's telling me I'm lost, his name is Booger. He needs to go ahead on to somewhere.
Don't worry about the commenters. Don't worry about. But let me ask you this in regards to you saying, you know, what Biden, you don't see where they seem like they just gave Biden the benefit of the doubt when he left the White House, and they did not do the same for Trump.
We don't know everything. So this is what I will admit. It's still more information to come out about Trump. So the thing is, it wasn't that Biden, he said, hey, come check me out, because he didn't want any issues.
But how do you get a pass? Just with a Faith.
He's not getting a pass.
He's not Faith. He essentially kept classified documents in his possession for most of your adult life, and he's not going to be charged at all for it. How is that not a pass?
You know what, Handsome?
I'm listening, baby.
I don't see it. It's two different situations. But just because, listen, he willingly gave them up. Trump did not. So how do you put those in the same category?
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to give you the same example I've been using throughout the broadcast. If I go rob a bank and they never catch me, and I willfully come and get the money back, do I get to escape charges because I willfully gave it back?
No.
Right.
What if? Okay, right. You are absolutely correct. But if something's going to be done about Biden, it will be after the fact. If he doesn't win the presidency next time, then they could do that. Guess what? I give two shits about it. Okay, 2 shits. So I'm not worried. If Biden did something wrong, get him.
Last question I'll ask you before I move it on. It's been a pleasure talking. I know I'm a little hard, that's what we do, but it's always good to have you on. So don't worry about that. Next time I'll probably be nice as hell. But what I want to ask you is, how do you feel about the fact that the investigators stated one of the reasons they're not going at them is because he would be too difficult to process or prosecute because his mental competency isn't there? He's running for president for the next 4 years.
Where did you see that at? Because I'm trying to find it. Where did you see that write-up?
Okay.
You just see it?
Well, I'm going to admit, I'm here with Sirius and Fox, and I've heard it over the air. Maybe I'm wrong, but I certainly heard they said he couldn't remember. He could not remember exactly when he was vice president. He could, and by the way, I see somebody in the comment section saying he doesn't even deny it. He also could not remember when his own son died. He's forgetting key moments in time. That's what's been coming out.
Okay, I'll have to read.
Okay, let me make it clear. I'm willing to concede if I'm wrong, because I see some folks in the comment section are saying that that's not accurate. So I'll leave it at that.
Why would they put? Okay, this is the thing. Why would they put? Wouldn't that be a HIPAA violation if they said something about his mental or his health?
If you don't remember what year you were vice president, because that's obviously when he got possession of these documents. And
I have no excuses for Biden, but we do fumble sometimes. Listen, I have PTSD, so I don't remember every damn thing. But okay, so that's my problem. And I'm not even that old. Okay, so people have different ways that they remember, but he's older. Why can't it just be age? Trump ass. If you see the shit that he does, I'm sorry.
Hey, don't worry about it.
My mouth is filthy.
It's all right.
Okay?
It's all right.
So if you hear the stuff that he says, he never answers a damn question. Okay. So think about it. He just rambles and rambles on. So I mean, Biden, yes, he does stuff wrong. Trump, yes, he does stuff wrong. So how are they making? Who is this? Okay, what's his meaning? Dale?
Talk to me. Work with me. I get the comments are going crazy. Don't worry about the comment section. You're not going to make friends with all the commenters. You're here with me.
I'm not worried.
All right, okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so they're both old. So this is how it's going to be. If we don't want any old presidents, then it starts with us nominating them. That's on us.
Well, we did have, and I'm no fan of these people, we did have the likes of Marianne Williamson. We had the likes of the Kennedy. I mean, we did have other choices. We chose Biden.
Okay, yes. So just like Trump, they could have chosen exposing someone else. But guess what?
Yeah.
Now let me say this. I do believe Trump has dirt on all of them because I do. And listen, that's just my feelings. That's just what just from me knowing stuff. And because there's no reason for them to jump through hoops for another man.
Well, they believe the man is doing what's right by the country.
They have more loyalty to him than they do their wives. Okay.
Damn.
Go figure.
Damn.
Okay, think about it.
You talking about Ted Cruz, obviously. Damn.
I'm just saying.
All right, Faith. Got me want to listen to my George Michael CD. Appreciate you coming on, Faith.
What?
You gotta have faith. You never heard the song.
Oh yes, I love it.
All right, I gotta go. Appreciate it. Okay, all right.
First time.
Hey, thank you, Faith. By the way, first time calling early. You're always welcome back. My door is always open to you. I'll move the program on, but I understand, folks. Listen, I got a few years on me, so some of my references may go over your head if you're younger. I mentioned George Michael, and she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Look it in the comment section, though. Appreciate the TikTok cap. I didn't see who gave that to me for a minute. Niner Man. Very generous of you. Thank you. President Biden looks like he's getting a complete pass. Classified documents in his possession. We're hammering Trump. Remember, Trump had the documents in his bathroom. They got a picture of him on stage or something in his basement. Biden had documents in his basement, under his television, in his garage. Why is he not getting the same scrutiny as President Trump? How is he escaping that? Trump says there's a two-tier justice system. Tell me how Trump is not right. Many folks should be wearing a Trump is right hat, apparently. But let me know what I'm getting wrong. In the comments, Democratic FBI without the Democratic Republic. I don't quite get that on YouTube there, Jeff. What policies put money in your pocket under Trump? Wow. I'll let you folks in the comment section answer that. What of Trump's policies put money in your pocket? And that's an interesting question to ask because I have a lot of people will state that they were doing significantly better financially under Trump. Going back to the box, 900 of you folks in here, tap the screen. We should be around 50 now. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Helps out the program, brings in more MAGA. Program is always will remain MAGA friendly in its entirety, but liberals are welcome as well. Anthony Hawkins, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Biden and Trump needs to go. I bet there's going to be a hell of a lot of liberals saying that now that it looks like Biden is not necessarily the best choice. Anthony, good afternoon.
What's up, buddy? Long time no talk.
All right, good to have you back on. So Trump,
it seems like every time I come on here, I get banned.
oh damn. Well, let's we'll take it a little easy like Sunday morning. So, two-tier justice system. What say you?
I agree. I mean, I do. So this is clearly my opinion. This is my outlook at the situation.
Okay.
Don't report me for misinformation, people. We know.
All right, I'm going to tackle you on it. If it sounds crazy, I'm going to hit you on it, but go ahead.
So my understanding of this situation was, now I don't know what Trump declassified or what the case may be. My understanding of the situation when Biden got into office, he reclassified certain documents which Trump was in possession of at the time. Now, Trump fought back. No, I declassified these. You can't take them because I declassified.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just say this real quick. That should be simple. If you declassify something that was sensitive and highly classified, there has to be a record of that, right? You can't. Now, Trump. Let me rephrase it. Trump told Sean Hannity you could declassify something by thinking about it. Do you think that's true?
Well, no. But I think the documents that he declassified, I'm sure. Now, I'm sure he was just talking shit when he said...
How do you know? How do you know that? How do you know he's talking shit?
I don't. That's my opinion. But I think he was just talking shit.
But is that... But you're being criminally charged or at least the thought process of charging you criminally for maintaining documents you had no right to. Is that the time to even talk shit or make jokes? You're on Sean Hannity, a global program, certainly national. Why would you joke about that?
Because you Donald Trump, baby.
Yeah, and that's why he's on the outside of the White House looking in, probably too, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, I give you that.
Yeah, that's not something. I don't.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not the biggest Trump supporter, but I mean, I lived a hell of a lot better under Trump.
Right.
I mean,
well, you can answer the question, and we'll continue the conversation. But real quick to interrupt it, what policies of Trump made you wealthier? Somebody asked that question earlier.
So I mean, I don't have it on hand. I can't tell you offhand. You can blast me, whatever. I can't.
Yeah, you're not answering that one. You're not answering that one good at all.
I don't have it for you right now. I ain't been on your show for a minute, and I was like, oh, this is one I need to jump into real quick just to talk some shit, because literally all I just wanted to say, I wanted to jump in and be like, you gotta change your name to the handsome Republican or the handsome conservative or something now, because I know that vote's going that way.
Well, I can concede points on the right and left without changing my whole damn vote, though. I mean, I do say in this case, it does seem like Trump is being treated a bit more harsh than other candidates or other politicians that had classified documents in their position. However, I'm not going to suggest that Trump was mistreated in the handling of E. Jean Carroll, for instance. Trump was acting an ass. That's why so Trump is done. I'm not saying Trump is some angel that's being wrongfully treated. Trump is the Dennis the Menace character, but in some cases, maybe they went overboard, and this looks like one of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, for sure. He's kind of an asshole, and he's arrogant. He's the center of attention for sure. But I mean, we did have cheap gas. We had no wars. I mean, crime was down. Wait, hold on. You mentioned, now I know I asked you the policy question earlier, and you went humming, but you brought up low crime. How does the president lower crime? You blame Trump for less crime. Because you can literally be a president or a part of Congress. You can pass the things. You got executive order power to put the regulations on companies, on maybe states or whatever to change things. You can't change them personally, but you can pass the paperwork that trickles down to change things. I can't tell you personally 100% what he did at this moment, but dude passed executive orders that changed the whole election process.
I don't know. To me,
we're going through this whole with the Supreme Court. Did you watch that today with the Supreme Court?
I listened to it. Yeah, I did. Trump looks like he's going to win that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so you got to give the guy credit. I mean, he might be an asshole, but he's winning.
Well, in regards to your answer on how the president could reduce crime, it sounds like you win by a touchdown, and it's only because the other team fumbled the ball and you picked it up and walked it in. That don't mean you got a great team. It just means they made a mistake. I don't hear where Trump is actually able to reduce crime.
For sure.
You there?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, my kids are coming in.
All right. Well, I'm moving on. I do appreciate you coming in. Good talk.
Buddy, I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
Absolute. Looking in the comment section, Trump stacked the courts, but the final verdict is not offered yet. Well, something for the point is well taken. 6-3 on the Supreme Court. There's a hell of a lot of Republican justices out there in the lower courts that Trump appointed. I don't know if I buy into the notion anymore that because Trump appointed so many judges and even Supreme Court judges, that they're going to rule in his favor. Trump has had a lot of justices, a lot of cases where they have not ruled in his favor. I'm a big fan of perhaps not allowing Colorado to remove Trump from the ballot based on, I think, Article 3 of the 14th Amendment or something like that. For the simple fact is, we already know I'm not necessarily saying that Trump didn't do something wrong. I'm just simply saying in this tribalistic environment, If Colorado is allowed to remove Biden or Trump from the ballot, if Maine is allowed to remove Trump from the ballot, Biden's name is going to disappear from the ballot in some Bible Belt states. They're going to, certainly now that he's been found to have classified documents in his possession, they're going to come up with a reason to go tit for tat. Otherwise, I might be able to talk with Colorado and maybe see a few things. But if Colorado is allowed to remove Trump's name from the ballot, whether it's the issue with not securing the border that they believe that Biden is responsible for, or now he's been found to have classified documents in his possession, perhaps his son, Ukraine, Burisma, Biden's name would disappear from the ballot in some Republican strongholds. I don't think it's a good thing for the country. So as a result, I'm going to rule against Colorado simply because of the bad precedent it would set, and knowing that the Republicans would use that door and go through it immediately, almost immediately. If Colorado is allowed to do this, I'd say within a month, you'd have Republican states already in court trying to remove Biden. Within a month, it would happen. So I don't want to, this is all along the line of this alleged path to civil war, civil unrest, dividing the country up, seceding. All of this would play into that because there would be Republican states removing Biden's name from the ballot. So I'm not a fan of it for that reason. Looking in the comment section, sounds like we are scared to apply the Constitution. If we're scared to apply the Constitution, then it has to start with the feds because Trump hasn't been charged officially with insurrection. You can't remove his name from the ballot and then answer a legitimate court. Why did he get charged for this crime? You took him off the ballot and he doesn't have a criminal record for committing a crime? That doesn't make any sense. Looking in the comments, no won't remove Biden from ballot because he didn't commit insurrection. I'm just telling you that if they allow Trump's name to be removed from the ballot, those states will find reasons to remove remove Biden from the ballot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Going back to the box, tap the screen. 60,000 can happen if you let your thumbs and not be lazy. Get your boy likes up to around 60,000. Appreciate you folks still tuned in on YouTube. If you enjoy this type of conversation, smash that like button. Feel free to drop a subscription. None of this costs you guys any cash, so I appreciate you doing it. Mookie, appreciate you coming in. Good evening. Two-tier justice system. Was Trump right when he said that? Mookie, good evening.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think more and more every day we're finding out that Trump was right.
Oh.
And I think on the left it's more of a bitter, oh shit. And they keep crying to say, well, what about this? What about that? He did this.
Are you accusing us Democrats of whataboutism?
1,000%, my friend.
I want to play devil's advocate. I want to challenge you, but I can't. I mean, it does sound that way. I can't argue with you on that.
Look at it too, Tim. I don't remember what senator said it, and he was a Democrat, and he says, unfortunately, Trump was right. And this is about 6-7 months ago when he said Trump was right about NATO. He did grow the economy. He was right about the virus. He was right about the tax reform. It worked. I mean, he was right about a lot of things that pissed a lot of people off because they didn't like Trump. And it was the same reason.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Hold on a second. In regards to them being pissed off because they didn't like Trump, I mean, since we're being honest with each other, do you not agree that Trump has done some things to people wrongfully that entitled folks to be pissed off at him?
Yes, but it doesn't mean that he committed crimes. It doesn't mean that he didn't do what people are claiming he did, or what he said. I want credit for it. He can be a pompous ass and go, you guys don't even play this on the news. Mainstream media doesn't play this. Here's what I did. He's right about that. I'm not saying that his delivery was wonderful and he should be on stage with a microphone, because maybe not. But he was still right, and I think that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to pretend like everything Trump said is wrong, but the reason why I asked you that is because often folks go where, you know, they never give him a chance from day one. And I often push back by saying Trump doesn't make it easy to love him. Even if he is being wrongfully charged, or you think there's a witch hunt here or there, Barack Obama being born in Kenya, for instance, he does things that are worthy to dislike him for. I mean, he talks to people like shit. So it is hard to.
He'll be the first one to put a tack in your shoe when you're not looking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not denying that. But again, he was just, when he's right, he's right. And hey, I'm in favor of Trump, but there's sometimes when he's on TV that I cringe. I'm like, bro, time and a place. I don't think he has that gear.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't make him wrong, but he doesn't have that gear.
So why not go with one of the other host of candidates you had from Vivek? I know you're not going to like Chris Christie or Nikki Haley, but you had DeSantis. Why not go with somebody else that wouldn't put a tack in people's shoe?
Because that's not what's important to me, Tim.
You don't wear the shoe. That's what the problem is, Mookie. He's not putting a tack in your shoe. He's doing it to me. I'm the one limping with a bleeding heel, and you're telling me that's not that important to me. It's my foot.
I know, but change your shoes.
Oh my God. Change my.
Things that you have to weigh out. You got to put on the scale. What's better, attacking my shoe or having lower gas prices, lower groceries, lower utility bills, no wars? You know, when that person asks you, you know, state your sources. You know, what bill did he pass that made you so much better? That's the most uneducated question I've ever heard in my entire life. I'd rather literally scratch my eyes out with thumbtacks than listen.
Then give us some examples. Give me Trump's greatest hits.
Not one war under his presidency, Tim, and you know war is the big business for the elites. Big business.
Yeah,
for
but just like but let me in regards to no wars under Trump, and that's true, and that's a common response in giving Trump accolades. But like with my example I used with one of my previous callers about, you won the game by a touchdown simply because somebody dropped the ball and you picked it up and walked in. That doesn't mean you're a great team. No wars under Trump. Is that because he was doing something, or nobody wanted to attack anybody during that time? What did he actually do to cause us to not have any wars?
Again, pick one. It doesn't matter what the reason is. The outcome was no wars. And when you have wars, you know that everything, economy-wise, goes through the roof. That's what causes it. So the guy steering the ship, whether he picked the ball up and ran or he just jumped on it over the goal line, is responsible for it.
True, but that means he just got lucky, like the guy who picked up the fumble. Yeah, you won the game, you get credit for the win, but at the end of the day, that's just sheer luck. That's not skill, that's luck.
But you know what? I'd rather be lucky than good.
Really?
Hell yeah, I'll take one every time.
Okay.
Who cares? It's not a bad thing. As they say, that's a good problem to have, isn't it? You're always lucky. Because you know what? The more I practice and the more I study, the luckier I get. Is that what you want to call it?
Okay, fair enough. I don't know that. I do agree, though. Under Trump, we didn't have the global affairs like we're dealing with under Biden. But like I stated before, it probably was just simply because Trump got lucky. I don't think it was because he was actively working behind the scenes with world leaders and trying to negotiate peace deals. No, he did something with the Middle East. He is, what is it, the Paris Accord? So look, yeah, I'm not going to deny the man where he deserves credit for. So I'll check that one off.
Yeah, and you know what? In regards to the documents, have you heard of Crossfire Hurricane? Because this is something that has been leaking out slowly but surely and consistently.
Okay.
The reason, my understanding, and this is just, you can call it satire, I don't know, it's what I've heard of more than a handful of times in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Crossfire Hurricane was the reason the actual reason they did a raid on Mar-a-Lago. They were looking for those documents. I think a couple callers ago just said that they were looking for those documents that he had declassified. And when he did it, he sent it to the FBI to say, redact whatever personal information you got to redact and give me the binder back. They redacted everything. And he goes, no, send it back. and do it the right
So
way.
then I have to ask the obvious question in regards to the documents, because you heard my last caller suggest, and I'll ask you the same question. Do you believe Trump, what he stated to Sean Hannity, where he could think documents into declassification?
100% honesty, I haven't a clue. I don't know what that policy is. That doesn't make sense to me
No,
at all.
it doesn't.
What do I-
And have you heard anybody other than Trump suggest, because a lot of times when Trump says something that people think is correct, they have no qualms admitting Trump is right. Have you even heard anybody on the right, the Tucker Carlsons or anyone, suggest that he was right? You can't think a document into declassification existence.
I've never heard anybody agree with that statement.
Yeah, so this is what I mean when I say there are reasons to not like Trump. That sounds like he just made up a lie.
I would back you on that.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. I mean, somebody's just slapping in the back of his head. You know, his mama maybe going, stop with the bullshit.
Okay.
I get it. He's an extremist when he makes points. He makes extreme points just to get his point across.
But that's not a point. That's just a flat out lie. That's like, I didn't have sex with that woman. Looking in the camera saying I didn't have sex. I mean, it is about on that level. You know this is a lie. There is no spin to this at all. This is a flat out lie when you're telling it.
Yeah, you got caught like R. Kelly.
Exactly.
And I agree with you, but again, that's just stuff that is him. I mean, you gotta take that crap with him if you want the good economy, no wars, etc., other thing you're rooting for him with. So I don't know, but with that Crossfire Hurricane, that's the document that they originally, and someone said, "Oh, I'm fake news." It's not fake news. It's on the FBI's and the government's site. It's on there because he declassified it. You can look that up yourself. I'm not going to do your homework for you, bud. But that's originally why they raided the house. And my understanding, it was a very limited warrant that they had. And again, they were looking for that specifically. And what that is that goes back to a lot of the Mike Pence and the Joe Bidens and these higher up politicians with some of their nefarious actions, let's just say, things that are not so good. And that's why he kept it and declassified it so he could give it to Congress and the American people. FBI was not a fan of that, so they raided his home looking for it. And then what happened, again, who knows if that's true, is they say, you know that Trump always walks around with a briefcase, and he had those documents with him as they're tearing his house up. So the word is they're going to do another raid for Crossfire Hurricane. And again, that's something that is on the...
I can't, well, let me make sure. I'll go ahead and plead ignorance. I can't speak on Crossfire Hurricane. I'm not knowledgeable of that, but I will tell you this. His own attorney testified that she told him, if you don't hand those documents back over, sir, you're committing a crime. And he decided to keep doing it. Why would he do that? Why would he not listen to his own attorney?
The 100% truth is I don't know either, but I would imagine that if those documents are that important. So I don't know. I can't pick a side on that. If my attorney said something, I'd be like, okay, done.
Fair enough. I'm just going to simply say it makes no sense to hire an attorney if you're not going to take their legal advice. That makes no sense at all. But I do got to move it on, Moogie.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming on. Good talk.
Thanks, Tim.
Absolutely. Now in the comments on YouTube, by the way, Leo asked a question. Who is letting thousands upon thousands of potential threats into this country right now? Open borders. That is a horrible strike on the Biden presidency. Folks are suggesting that, the border was bad under Trump, under Obama, and things like that. But Biden is taking, just like with the economy, folks suggest the economy is far worse than a lot of economical or analysts of the economy are suggesting. This is why my last live stream, we talked about Biden taking the Super Bowl interview that he is declining. Like now we're talking about documents in his possession. He needs to get out in front of the American people and start talking. Folks suggesting that Biden doesn't know where he's at, can't string together two sentences. Perhaps if he spoke more, if he held more rallies like Trump, he could neutralize some of that stuff. However, it looks like his team is deliberately keeping him hidden, which leads folks to suggest maybe there's a reason why you don't see him speaking very much. It's because they know he'll fall apart under the questioning, under the pressure, under the cameras. He needs to do more interviews. I'm just going to tell you that. Now, he's had a State of the Union address. He's talked about ultra MAGA or dark MAGA. He hasn't done that bad. But you can't put the guy out there every 3-4 months when Trump is holding rallies 3-4 times a week or whatever the hell it is. He needs to talk more because the messaging surrounding the Biden administration is not even good. Even like I stated, the economy analysts are saying the economy has rebounded and is doing quite well. And most Americans don't agree with that. The perception for them is reality. He's doing nothing to change the perception of the American people. If he was out talking more, maybe he could do that. Looking in the comments, I've been asking for years why this guy doesn't look like Joe Biden. Can someone answer that? You know, like I said, I go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with QAnon. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. There are folks, now this is on the far right side of the aisle, that believe Biden is either no longer with us or being held somewhere while a stand-in, notably Jim Carrey or James Woods, is actually running the country. I've heard this from a number of people. Left of Bernie Sanders all the way to I'm having dinner with QAnon. We take comments from all sides. Nobody gets blocked, banned, or censored. But there are people who believe that Biden is not the guy you see on TV. All right, going back to the box. And I don't submit to that theory, by the way. There's no way in hell I would submit to that, but people do believe that. Going straight back to the box. I appreciate all you folks that are holding on. We'll go to, I don't know what I just did there. All right. Sean Smith, good afternoon. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Maybe Biden isn't the choice, but is there a two-tier justice system like Trump is suggesting? Biden, old man and poor memory, says Larry Parsons. It's looking like that's a valid comment. Obviously he's an old man. Trump is an old man as well. But the poor memory part is starting to look like that is also valid. Is Biden the right guy? Are we voting for Biden because he's the right guy to lead the country? Or are we doing it just because we hate his opposition? Because if so, is that a legitimate reason to select the president of essentially the free world? Are you voting for the guy because you think he's doing a good job, or are you voting him simply because he's not the other guy? Ask that. Looking in the comments, I don't know what's going on with the box, and we'll keep it moving. Trump is going to be your next president, says Jerry Lee. The jury's still out on that. However, that is not an impossibility. A lot of polls show Trump doing better than Biden. However, Trump still has to deal with the courts. He is not 100% guaranteed to make it past the courts. He looks like he will make it past Colorado, but he's not guaranteed to make it past the courts. So give it a moment. We'll go back. I don't know what happened with the last caller. So the gas company here sent out new bills this month. You should hear the screams. What are you saying? The price of fuel went up? The name is highly classified. Your gas company sent out new bills and people were screaming because the price went up. I don't know if that makes sense right now. Highly classified. Because right now there's no denying that fuel prices in this country have went down. Maybe you're not getting mean tweets and $2 gas, but I would submit to you most of the states in this country, with the exception of a very few, are paying less than $3 a gallon. Gas has went down. This is not 2022 or even 2023. The price of fuel has went down. So when you're touting Biden's economy, which is a legitimate point to make perhaps, but you can't deny it is going back towards the direction you want it to go. If you don't live in California, Hawaii, Pennsylvania, or maybe the New England states, you're probably paying less than $3 a gallon for gas right now. It's only a few places that are doing that. Going back to the buy, and I see somebody said $3.89 in California. California's always been that way. They got their own personal tax problems. Going back to the box, we'll go with one Chevy 7.7. Still thinking your vote matters while being replaced. I don't quite get that comment. Chevy, good evening.
Good evening, morning, brother. How's things going for you?
I don't know. I tend to lean left. Are we dealing with a two-tier justice system?
Oh, absolutely. It's been a minute since we had a conversation. As far as your little reference a while ago about fumbling the ball and happened to fall into the end zone,
Yeah.
the team was close enough to keep the score close enough to be able to do that.
Damn, that's a good response. I don't know. I'm not gonna give you the win, but damn, was that good? That was good. You didn't skip a word on that. I'll give you the victory on that. So in regards to the two-tier justice system, though, I mean,
Absolutely, it's a two-tier justice system. Look, brother, hey, if Trump broke the law, hey, put his ass in jail.
Whoa,
But do the
really?
same to the other side.
So if Trump broke the law, you do believe he should be penalized for it. So what all is he being charged with? Obviously, he's been charged with the document. My mind is drawing, but the case down in.
Mine's drawing blank because there's 90-something charges against him, and
Well, but wait a minute.
you coming out every day.
I will tell you that there's two cases where, well, one in the civil case in New York with Letitia James. I do believe he's guilty of that, but that's a civil case. Also, the fake electors case down in Georgia, because they charged so many people with this damn RICO Act, is not going to happen before the election. But I believe there's some potential of him being guilty with that one as well.
Have not seen the evidence on it, would not know, so I cannot comment on it.
Chevy, they pleaded guilty. The fake electors, many of them already don't plead guilty to it.
You know how many hours a day I spend watching the actual news, whether it be Fox, CNN, any of the others?
Okay.
Absolutely zero.
Then how do you know we have a two-tier justice system if you're not watching the media?
Because it's not hard to see. You can, okay, let's put it this way. Let's take Biden and Trump off the table for just a second.
Okay.
Let's just look at the politicians. You can actually go and do research yourself, just like with Nancy Pelosi. If me or you had the information that they had while we were trading stocks, we would go to jail.
Yeah. So then I have to ask you this then. When you mentioned politicians being a beneficiary of a two-tier justice system, is Trump himself benefiting from a two-tier justice system?
Trump is a narcissistic ass, but he was the best thing for the country at the
That ain't what I'm asking you.
Yes.
I'm not asking you what he did for the country. I'm saying, is he benefiting from the two-tier justice system? In other words, if you go to court, you or I went to court, and we were on social media sending out the clerk's home address and phone number, would you and I get locked up?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So Trump himself is also benefiting from this system.
He's benefiting from being a wealthy, rich person in this country.
Okay. I mean, it benefits a benefit.
As far as politics goes, he's not benefiting being charged with 90-something charges when Biden just done the exact same thing and is not being charged.
Well, when you say, so you don't think he's benefiting from the system as a politician, just as a rich citizen?
Exactly.
So how do you feel about on January 6th, most of the Republican Party was saying that Trump was responsible for what happened. Lindsey Graham was suggesting that the protesters should have been shot in the head. And then on January 7th, they were suddenly friends with Trump again. You don't see any political benefit that he's receiving from
plenty.
politicians.
Absolutely, plenty.
Okay.
And it's whatever the sorry about that, my daughter just texted. Whatever the politicians, whether it be Republican or Democrat, whatever they can latch on to try to further their agenda, that's what they'll do. It's all politics. It's
So you do
both
agree
sides.
then? So you do agree then, as a politician, Trump is also benefiting from a two-tier system.
I can see that. Yes.
Okay. Well, we
far as-
just had 9 Republican presidential contenders running for the nation's highest office, refusing to even say a thing about Trump, who was way out in the lead. Why would they do that?
Because they're scared of the backlash.
Then that's a benefit, right?
That's a benefit of
Okay.
people liking Trump.
Yeah.
As far as your comment a while ago, or excuse me, your rebuttal a while ago about the not being in wars, you hear that a lot. I can give you the reason behind that as well.
Sure. Let me hear what you got.
Okay. if you have a crazy man sitting there beside you, are you going to sit there and mess with him?
You're saying they see Trump as a cowboy, similar to what they used to say about George W. Bush. So they're almost afraid to act. I don't necessarily.
They play nice because they don't know what he will do.
But you look at Trump, according to you, he's a cowboy, as you say, a crazy man, so they don't know what he would do. Nevertheless, Biden, on the other hand, has won over and given the Ukraine enough assistance that they're putting up resistance for 2 solid years, went to Taiwan on the global stage and told China, if you attack Taiwan, you are attacking the United States. So even though Biden is not a cowboy, he's actually stood in as a put up or shut up mode and let the foreign adversaries know that if you mess with anything that interests us, we're going to get in a fight. How does Biden not get credit?
But if Russia, if Vladimir Putin, if Trump had been in office, do you think Vladimir Putin would have made a move against Ukraine? He did it before Trump on Crimea. He's done it after Trump, but he would not move during Trump because he did not know what the man would do.
I agree with you, but I follow back by asking, is that necessarily a good thing? And here's what I mean. I believe Trump, who had a long-standing relationship, a positive relationship with Putin before becoming president, most likely, because Trump cares about his image, cares about his legacy, told Putin and I'm just, speculating here, but I believe he told Putin something to the effect of, whatever you got planned with the Ukraine, it can't happen when I'm in office because I got a legacy to maintain, but I'll guarantee while I'm in office, they won't become a member of NATO. We won't interfere with your ability to import export. So Russia will remain strong. And then when I'm out of office, you can do whatever you want, because Russia's involvement with the Ukraine was poor before Trump came along. He had already took Crimea and Georgia under Obama and George W. Bush. So it's not like Trump gave Ukraine their territory back. He just paused it. And I believe that's because he had a good relationship with Putin, and Putin is like, I can wait.
That's a possibility. Yeah. If we were as rich as they were, we'd possibly know.
Yeah, but is that a good thing that Putin did not go into the Ukraine under Trump?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you why I'm asking this, though. Under Biden, there's no denying that Russia is you got a loud background, man. You got something going on there? Super loud.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Under Biden, there is no denying that Russia is a far weaker country militarily. They've even started instituting, a draft of certain, because they're losing folks, they're losing equipment, they're losing manpower, and we're able to weaken Russia without a single U.S. soldier. So even though Russia acted under Biden, they're weak. You don't think they're a weaker country now?
Do I think they're a weaker country? Yes. Okay. But is there U.S. soldiers in Ukraine? Yes.
Of any significance?
As of a full military brigade, no.
Yeah.
But are there U.S. soldiers in Ukraine training Ukrainians? Absolutely.
But think about it, though. You're admitting that Russia's a weaker country, and we've had virtually no U.S. casualties in the region. So we've been able to significantly weaken Russia without any U.S. expense, other than some cash.
Okay.
Is that not a good thing?
Is it for the world economy for Russia to be weak?
I think it benefits America. That's what. So under Biden, America has benefited by weakening one of our strongest allies.
I'll give you that one, but I'll go back to my original question. For the world economy, what good is a weak Russia?
Well,
a weak China, for that matter.
Well, if China and Russia have their thumb on a lot of countries that we may be able to get access to, we may be able to have better import-export markets with, but they're dealing with Russia and China. If they were to step out of the way, we become a bigger superpower.
Not necessarily, because you know as well as I do, there's not much. I would say 10% of what you buy is actually made anywhere but China.
So you believe that you don't see, if China became a weaker country, you don't see the U.S. benefiting from that at all?
No.
Yeah, I got.
Do I?
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I totally disagree with that.
Yeah. As far as China being weaker militarily, yes. As far as China's economy being weaker, no. Again, because we unfortunately do not manufacture in this country anymore.
Well, the only reason China's economy is anywhere near what it is because we are the ones that sent our jobs over there and did it like that. I mean, they're getting that from us.
Yes, and their number one export buyer is the United States.
Right. So if we stop buying from them, their economy is going to collapse overnight.
It's doing that already.
Yeah. And that's happening under the Biden administration, right?
It's happening for several reasons.
Is it?
Yes, it is happening under the Biden administration.
So give us credit for recovering the fumble. I got to move it on, though, Chevy.
Have a good one, brother.
You too. Good talk. Good talk. All right, looking in the comment section. China's economy is in decline. Yeah, is that not a good thing for the United States? Because when their economy is strong, they're strengthening their military. And they're only strengthening their military because they see us as an adversary. So if China's economy is in decline, that is a direct benefit to the United States. I don't see how folks would disagree. Same thing with Russia. If Russia has a strong economy, a strong military, who do you think their main target is if they ever feel like they're going into a major conflict? It's us. It's us. So you would want both Russia and China to have a weaker military. You don't think we strengthening our Navy and our, buying, dozens of F-22s and F-35s to take on Iran, do you? No, it's for countries like that. So if you can weaken them, I don't see how you guys disagree with that. But looking in the comment section. So quick question. If China's economy crashes, what happens to all our debt that's owed to China? They have to come begging for it back. Now, we are incredibly indebted to China. Folks often suggest that they decided to call their debt, we would go bankrupt. I vehemently disagree. You know why? Because it would be like you betting on a sports game with a mob boss bookie. 100 to 1 odds, you put a bunch of money down. You actually win the long shot, thereby bankrupting the mob bookie you made the bet with. You think you're going to go demand him pay all that money? You think he's going to actually pay you? He's the muscle. What are you going to do? If you don't pay me, I'm going to hurt. No, it's the mob. They're going to pay you what they want to pay you, and you're going to have to wait for the rest. That's what would happen if China decided to call all of their money due with the United States. We're going to give you a small amount of it, but at the end of the day, we're not going to go bankrupt or destroy our country trying to pay you. Don't like it? Come holler at us. It's not going to happen. So it sounds great, but in reality, it's not going to go down like that. The United States is not going to pay all of our debt back to China at the complete expense of this country. I don't see it. You say, so we are in default, potentially. But as long as we have just about all of the military might on earth, there's all kinds of deals you can make. There's all kinds of backdoor things you can do when you got all the damn weapons, which is why I use the mafia comparison. As long as you got all the strength, there's all sorts of options that can be made in the background. Keep in mind, I believe, and a lot of you folks do already too, America routinely starts wars and things like that. Perhaps that would be the time to get China a country or two that they want. I mean, America will find a way around it. I mean, our history, as Trump even pointed out, our history is not that great. China's not going to get all their money back from the United States. I'm just going to tell you that. Looking in the comment section, America owes most of its money to America. America first. Going back to the box, Biden, also his competency came up. We're talking about a two-tier justice system, whereas Biden appears to be getting a little bit of a benefit that Trump did not get, because they actually are suggesting that Biden willfully held on to classified documents. Same thing they said of Trump. Yet they're not going to do anything to Biden. How does he get a pass, but Trump gets I want to say a home invasion, a search warrant, you name it? What's the difference? Do you not see a two-tier justice system? That's what we're talking about. Good afternoon, Andy. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon, or good evening, Andy.
How are you doing?
I don't know how I'm doing with this. Is Trump, the Trump right hat? Do I have to put on a Trump was right hat here?
Well, I wanted to clarify some things real quick that some of your other guests said. Biden had the strongest manufacturing comeback in U.S. history in 72 years.
And a lot of Democrats don't even know that. This is why we're talking about he should be out there actually talking. Why is he not doing that?
Well, we passed the CHIPS Act. We passed the PACT Act. We passed infrastructure. I mean, if he's declining, he's doing really well while he's declining. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Wisconsin had the lowest unemployment rate of 2.5.
But that's the question. But Andy, that's the question. Why is it people like you are saying this when Biden is not saying it? Why is he turning down a Super Bowl interview where he could say what you're saying to hundreds of millions of people simultaneously? Why isn't he taking that?
He turned it down last time, and I'm not sure why. And I don't know whether he should do it or should not do it. I definitely think he should not be doing with Tucker Carlson anything.
Well, I don't suggest.
Preaching that right-wing philosophy for 10 years. Russia regularly shows Tucker on there as a state-sponsored friend.
Yeah. No, I don't suggest that. But what I'm asking is, though, how do you respond to folks that might suggest the reason Biden is not taking these public interviews is because he knows he's going to slip up, forget dates. He mentioned he met with a French leader that died in '96, that he's going to do stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I can see confusing the names. I get it.
Over and over again?
But hold on. I will say this. He didn't do it last year. He declined last year. Did you know that?
He was making mistakes last year too, Andy. He's been doing it this whole presidency.
I'm just saying, but this isn't the first time he declined them. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
So, but I will say that is his choice. Trump is not running on the debate stage. It is very confusing to me. It is like you would think they would want to tell us instead of being so cagey, but I will agree that, it is not helping not further the message.
Yeah. Trump is, despite Trump.
Though, might be spent asking them about Trump's problem and not about his own future, and I think that may cause a problem.
Well, one of the things you got to give Trump...
I don't think he's supposed to speak on that either.
Yeah, but one of the things you got to give Trump credit for is he holding rally after rally after rally, getting his message, even if his message is not always actual facts.
Well, I mean,
he's getting it out.
I saw some of his rallies. They're not that big. Who's he getting the message out to? Wait,
Andy.
Andy. The one I watched in New Hampshire wasn't that big at all.
But think about what you just said. The one I watched in New Hampshire was not that big. How many other people were watching it? You're getting the message out by the TV. How often do you see Biden where you can watch him holding rallies?
I mean, he speaks to the people directly from the office of the presidency too, and like I said, I think this is a missed opportunity my own self. I'm not going to I am not going to play the other side and try to defend this. I'm just not.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I did want to give out, there is so much that he's done. It's not like, and a lot of Democrats know what he's done. Telling Republicans what he's done is going to fall on deaf ears.
Let me ask you this, Tim. Now, from this investigation, if I'm correct, a few people doubted it, but we'll find out. I'm gonna do a little bit more homework after I get off of here. But according to what I heard, the investigators are saying that when he was being interviewed, he could not remember important dates like when he actually was vice president, when his term ended, or even when his own son died, to the point where they're saying he would be a difficult individual to prosecute even if they wanted to, because his mind is so forgetful. Do you think?
Well, I mean, that is true of every person that further away from the date of the crime. That's true.
Did you say crime? Did I hear crime?
Away from that crime, the more you. I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I'm just trying to say that that's historically. Like, I can't tell you. Like, I would actually have to sit and think about it. Could you reel off?
Andy, you're telling me if you were actually elected.
What did you eat for dinner last week, Tim?
Hold on, Andy. You're telling me if you were actually elected to be vice president, you'd forget what days those were? The year?
With dates, I require a calendar. Like, a lot of people require tools. I'm not kidding. I'm horrible with dates. If it wasn't for my calendar, I wouldn't make it. If my calendar wasn't in front of me in court, I might not do well.
Do you not remember what year you graduated from high school? It's that important.
I have to actually think about it.
You don't remember what class of you were?
No, because I got kicked out of school because
okay. All right.
considered to be very mature. Well, let's just. They didn't like the fact I had a job at a bar.
All right. You don't remember? You're the first person I've ever heard say that. You don't remember the year you graduated?
I'm not good with that. I mean, everybody has something they're not good with. Without my calendar, I am nothing. And I'll tell you that. Like, my whole house has always had a calendar on the wall. Even when we had whiteboards, before we had, like, this. Even when we had little books, I always carried a calendar. You used to remember every phone number in your phone book, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Now we don't use phone
now
numbers.
You don't have a cell phone. It's on your cell phone. Do you remember those?
But I can tell you, I remember my phone number from when I was a kid. I remember
But you used to remember everybody else's, right?
I remember a lot of them still, but I agree with you. People don't remember that, but it's a big difference between forgetting phone numbers and the year you graduated from high school or the year you left the vice presidency. Those are huge dates in your history. That's huge.
Okay, the way he asked it was a question. He gave a date, but he put a question on it to make sure he was right. You know what I mean? So you got to read it the way it was written. He didn't just say, I don't remember. He said, this date, is that right?
So I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Do you think this man is in cognitive decline of any significance?
I don't know. I can't. Like, I didn't think that until this, and I need to, like you, I need to dive deeper in. I am not one that I'm going to sit here and say, one way or the other, because I need my voice to fight for equal rights. I cannot just be being off the rails,
Wait, you said what about equal rights? You said what about equal rights? Repeat that.
I'm trying to fight to get equal rights back from where Donald Trump threw it to the courts in 2020.
So let me ask you.
He knew he was going to take women's rights.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And there's a whole lot of women that agree with you. But let me ask you this question: are you voting for Biden out of adoration and love of Biden, or simply because he's not Trump?
Oh, this time both. Last time, I won't lie, I voted for him because he's not Trump. This time, the economic growth has been substantial. I see it in my stocks. The Dow's hit the highest it's been twice. Under Trump, it hit the lowest it's been twice.
All right. I wish he would.
My stock, I can sit here and honestly say that if I was going to vote my pocketbook, I'd be a fool not to vote for Biden. Even Scaramucci is out there pushing for Biden because of cryptocurrency. I mean...
Well, Scaramucci, after being fired by Trump in less than a week, he ain't no Trump fan. So he like Chris Christie. He ain't gonna say nothing positive no matter what.
His entire cabinet, isn't that his entire cabinet, and Comey and about 100 other people? I mean, Trump literally brought the swamp. They all got convicted. He brought new ones in. He had the highest turnover rate of any president in history.
Yeah.
And he also had the low. Just so you know. Since World War II, Trump had the lowest economic growth of any president.
I have not heard that. Not heard that.
Look it up.
But that's the problem, though, Andy. Even if everything you're saying is 100% true, if this was reversed, where Biden could, if this was reversed, where Trump could say all the stuff you said about Trump. If Trump could say Biden had the lowest growth since World War II and all of these accolades you're giving Biden, Trump would be doing rallies making sure people knew that all day long.
If he wasn't saying he'd be a dictator, I'd vote for him on that. But he can't. If he could say that and wasn't saying he'd be a dictator, he'd get my vote.
All right.
But he didn't prove that.
Well said.
And that's, the proof is in the pudding. And that's all I want,
I understand. So no you don't see where Trump is the victim of a two-tier justice system.
Well, I do think we have a two-tier justice system. I think the rich get away with a lot.
Yeah, and my last caller agreed. Yeah, my last caller said something to the same effect, and I do agree with that. All right, Andy, you stated your point. So it's mainly at the end of the day about women's rights with you. You don't really give a damn about the rest of that stuff. It's taking away people's rights that is your biggest concern.
Absolutely.
Can't argue with that.
Number one thing is, as long as women pass away from miscarriages in the South, none of us are safe.
Wow.
And have a great one, Tim.
You too. Strong point. Looking in the comments, she's eating the wrong pudding. Listen, no matter what points you agree or disagree with my last caller on, I think women resoundingly believe they're losing rights under the Trump administration or under Republicans. I don't even think Trump himself is for some of the draconian anti-abortion laws coming down the pipe. However, he's not going to do anything to stop it. But I can't disagree with her on that. I mean, women are losing rights. Even at a states' rights level, women in certain states are being permitted of even leaving a state to go have an abortion. So they're losing rights. There's no denying that women are losing rights under the Republican Party. But that's a whole different topic. We'll tackle that later. But I can't argue with any woman, particularly if they're young and fertile, or if they have a child that's young and fertile, or if they even care about somebody that's young and fertile, that's concerned with this. I mean, it's bad enough that some states are really willing to risk a mom's life to force her to have that child. That might actually be more important than $2 gas to somebody, or than a good economy you believe that Trump gave us. I mean, that's serious. That is a serious issue, and I can't take that away from women. I'm not a woman, so the last thing I would ever do is tell them what they should do or how they should do it. Certainly if I'm not going to help them take care of the kid they're being forced to have. So I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that issue. Looking in the comments, birth control should be cheaper. Well, if you're going to ban abortion, it should damn near be free. And if you're going to be instrumental in creating a lot of children that would not have been created, you should also be taking care of them to some degree. Free lunch programs, making sure schools are available. I mean, there's a host of things. This stuff should, in my opinion, if she's pregnant and she wants to terminate the kidney for the pregnancy, she should be receiving some assistance from it. It's a different conversation, but I do understand any woman. I do sympathize with any woman that is voting based on that issue. Because you got folks that are actually on TV, and the liberals are doing this, just like with the border. Folks on the right are going to show you all of the worst immigrants coming in this country committing crimes. Well, the liberals are going to do the same thing with the abortion issue. They're going to show you the worst cases of mothers either needing to or wanting to have an abortion because they were raped or something, being blocked or banned by the Republican Party. That's how politics works. You're not going to see a woman that's on her 9th abortion. No, they're going to show you. They're going to show you the ones that are being, treated like shit. Just like on the right, they're not going to show you an immigrant that came to this country, got their degree, and now they're out making a host of money, donating to churches and helping out the community. They're not going to show you that. It fits an agenda. It happens on both sides. Looking in the comments, the abortion rate is the lowest it has been in history, Tim. They want it to be zero, Andy. They want it to be zero. Then why not make the laws to not treat them like shit, says Insanity, because this is what is, I hate to banish the right, but they kind of want this. They want the additional humans, so to speak. And it's kind of like, well, if the women won't play along with it, then maybe we need to change. We need to stack the deck so they don't have much of a choice. The state should have to support the child they say she can't abort. I do agree that once abortion is being banned in those states, assistance to moms should increase dramatically. I do agree with that. Say grape, because you don't get banned. I do appreciate that, folks. Anyhow, as the sun sets here, I do appreciate the 76,000 likes. I didn't solicit a lot towards the end. Would have hoped to have gotten up to 100,000, but I do appreciate you tuning in and tapping the like button. For you YouTubers, certainly smash the like button. Feel free for a subscription. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, without the host blocking or banning or censoring you, you are in the right place. We believe in free speech. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. If you don't agree with the host, nobody gives a damn. That is how the program is ran daily. We are here Monday through Friday. Feel free, subscribe, follow. You know how we do. Until then, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care. For you YouTubers, wow, do appreciate you folks that have given your boy a subscription. Click the like button. I don't know what else to say. It does look like Biden, and somebody just sent me a super chat. Wow, thank you. I don't normally get those, so I do appreciate that. It does look like Biden. Jeff Host, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Absolutely appreciate that. It does look like Biden might be the beneficiary of a biased justice system. I don't normally say it, but I'm willing to concede a point where a point may be needed to be made. So it is what it is, but they went after Trump right away for the documents. Biden had documents of 30 plus years. They have determined he willfully held on to them, placed them in unsecured locations, and even shared some of the material, but yet he's not going to face any charge. Real quick, I don't normally block, ban, or censor anybody on the page. You guys know how I run the program. I do strongly believe in free speech. But for some reason, my YouTube audience and my TikTok audience is about 10 to 20 times larger. I get a lot more trolls and ignorant folks on YouTube than I ever get on TikTok. I mean, we got one guy in the comments right now that has typed "hi monkey" over a dozen times. That never happens on TikTok. Now, I don't know if the guy is trying to troll, if he's a flat out racist. I don't know what the case may be, but he clearly has a lot of time on his hands to type that. It obviously adds nothing to the program. I'm a huge stickler against blocking, banning, or censoring anybody, so I don't like to do that. But I appreciate all of you folks that do chime in with relevant topics, comments, even if it's to tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. If it's on topic, I appreciate that. I applaud that. Calling a host a monkey 20, 30 times not only adds nothing to the program, but it prevents decent commenters from getting their comment in, because this is going across the screen and it's irrelevant to the program. So folks like that, I have no other choice but to block, because he's doing nothing for the program. So this is probably the third time. I've been doing this for about 3 years. This is the third time I have to remove someone from the program, simply because what he was doing was trolling. So I did remove whoever that was yelling monkey over and over again. So they've been removed from the program. Anyhow, I do appreciate you folks. See you guys tomorrow. Take care. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. See you later.